With almost 1500 chapters, Hajime no Ippo is one of the longest still serialized manga out there. Having begun serialization in 1989, it's still going strong 35 years later. The story is currently the best it has ever been, with minor characters finally getting their endings, like Volk finally becoming the world champion and Mashiba currently getting his own ending via his world title fight. But there are still elements of the story that could go in the wrong direction, which could result in botching the message of the story. I do not want to enrich the story or anything. I know and trust that Morikawa has everything laid out and knows what he's doing. But still, I hope he does not take certain routes in the story. Starting off with a big one, and that is not giving Kimura a big comeback. In the story, Kimura is supposed to represent the male archetype that has the potential to achieve greatness in life, but does not know his own potential and in turn never unlocks it, aimlessly drifting through life. After Kimura's big fight against Mashiba, he has been exclusively stuck in mud matches that go nowhere or comedy fights. I know this is intentionally done by the author, but this has been dragging on for so long that you just lose all hopes for Kimura ever making a big comeback one day. It has been teased that Kimura might go up to the lightweight division to challenge Iga for the title, but as long as Aoki is still in the lightweight division, we will not see a comeback for Kimura anytime soon. So before the story ends, I hope that Kimura finally realizes what he wants to achieve in his life, so we can root for him again like we did for his fight with Mashiba. Another thing that should be addressed before the story ends is Ippo's relationship with Kumi. I do not have anything against this ship, however it has also been dragged for so long that whenever they have their moments together, you can't help but feel like it's just there to be filler since it has progressed very little over more than 1000 chapters. I feel like the story could have been more impactful if they were an actual couple instead of just being friends who tease each other about whether they could or should be a couple. Right now we are at the pivotal point in the story with Mashiba's title fight, and if they do not advance any further after this arc, then I am afraid that it will just drag out all the way until the end of the story. It will take screen time from other more important story elements. For example, I want to see more of other characters and how they improve to reach their goals, like Itagaki. And with Itagaki, I mean that he must have a comeback fight against Ippo before the story ends. We did not just invest our time with over 500 chapters building up Itagaki for him to only get rocked by Imai and then receiving the Kimura treatment. It has been almost 500 chapters since then that Itagaki has done anything noteworthy in the story. He's just there to be there. I know Morikawa is waiting for the right opportunity for him to return, but even so, we got all the development and teasers of a potential Itagaki vs Ippo fight that still has not happened. If Ippo returns, one of his first fights should definitely be against Itagaki. And speaking of Ippo's return, I really hope he returns to the story before it ends. This one is self-explanatory, but there's still a chance that Morikawa pulls the biggest troll move in history and just ends the story with his main character still retired. This will cement Morikawa as a legendary writer, while at the same time it will just dig his own grave with the consequences it would cause. Ippo has not done anything main character worthy since he retired and has only been there to help other characters while boosting his own stats and skills. I know he will return to the story one day, but still, I hope Morikawa does not end it with him still retired and without him possibly reaching Ricardo Martinez. But before that, we all want to see Sendo vs Martinez. What nobody wants to see is Sendo getting squashed by Martinez. The fight is one of the most anticipated fights of the entire series and has the potential to bring Ippo back into the story. However, this fight could also go very wrong if Martinez is portrayed as just being too strong for Sendo, with Sendo getting crushed like he was just another victim of Martinez's legacy. Sendo should at least be able to inflict some damage to Martinez, exposing him having some sort of weakness instead of being portrayed as this undefeatable super champion. He could even go as far as to knock Martinez down and make him go all out. At the same time, Sendo himself should not be portrayed as weak. He should still give Martinez a run for his money. Speaking of Martinez, we should also see why he is so strong. His backstory has been teased, showing that, like Ippo, he sought the answer to what it means to become strong. But this is all we have so far. We barely see how Martinez trains or what his style used to be. According to Martinez himself, he used to be a brawler before perfecting the fundamentals and sticking to them. We also need to know his reasoning for never moving up a weight class, even though he himself wants to prove his full potential in the ring. He dominates every opponent in the featherweight division, so why does he stay? This leads us to Takamura and his finale to the story, with his climatic final fight in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight champion should be portrayed as a real final boss type of boxer, like Tyson or an Ali. Takamura wants to conquer 6 weight classes, and his final step must be against a legendary boxer to overcome his final challenge. The heavyweight champion should also be someone completely new, since in universe, Takamura and Ricardo Martinez are canonically pound for pound the strongest boxer. Maybe the fighter could even be a younger, more fearsome boxer similar to Takamura himself. This could create a symbolic fight for Takamura to facing the prime version of himself while his own prime is already over, dealing with the pent-up damage to his leg and eye that still hasn't been fully addressed in the story. All in all, I just want Takamura to have a banger of a match for his heavyweight title fight. And as for other remaining characters, only Miyata is left, and the series should definitely not end before we finally get to witness Ippo vs Miyata. I've discussed this before, this is the fight that must happen near the end of the series. A rival vs rival fight is the climax of the story of any shonen manga, and this fight has been delayed multiple times to ensure it happens near the end. Miyata is still in the featherweight division and holds on to the hope that Ippo will return to the ring so he can fight him. Even if Miyata can no longer bear waiting and decides to move a weight class or two, Ippo and Miyata could still have a legitimate boxing fight in form of a spar. It could even end like Rocky 3, where we don't know who actually won in the end. But realistically, it should take Ippo one clean hit to take Miyata down. But the worst case scenario that has a possibility of happening is not story related, but in real life. Morikawa rushing to wrap up the story. Morikawa has been drawing and writing this manga for over 35 years now. Almost 5 years ago, when Ippo retired, he claimed that 50% of the story was done, but it wouldn't take another 30 years to finish. Ever since then, he has been taking it lightly, occasionally taking breaks between chapter releases to look after his health, or even releasing shorter chapters when he is satisfied with their length. From all the interviews I've heard and read, Morikawa is a perfectionist who only expects the best possible result from his own creation. This is likely why we still haven't seen a season 4 of the anime. He might not be satisfied with the current studio, but that's up for debate. In the past 2 years, however, Morikawa has been taking multiple weeks off because he couldn't meet deadlines or even was ill. I don't want to come across as a whiny little fan complaining about how dare he look after his own health and not finish a chapter that I read for free on the internet. My biggest fear is that he may start taking much longer breaks, not because he wants to, but because he actually needs to. This guy is approaching 60 and age catches up to everyone. My hope is that he takes his time with the story and, in the worst case scenario, does what Kentaro Miura did with Berserk, teaching multiple assistants to draw in his style so he can focus on providing the manuscript for the story. What I hope is that if Morikawa ever decides to wrap up the story, he doesn't end it quickly in 10 chapters with a flashback style ending. I hope he finishes it the way he truly intends the story to end. I'd like to thank Ippo for being a GOAT and continuously supporting my channel. If you have enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Hajime and Ippo content. I'm the Reading Crow, and thanks for watching.